You ready to learn everything there is to know about the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit? I know the pandemic has been happening for a little while now, and this isn't really a new topic, but I think this would be a great way to kind of start and get back in the flow and learn as to what are some of the new rules regarding the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, also known as the CERB benefit. What's up, you guys? I'm Josh Tavares from TNR Wealth Strategies. Here in our channel, we talk about all things personal finance and real estate investing. Remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and even jiggle the notification bell so you can get uploads on our newly uploaded content. Are you still unaware of everything that there is to know about the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit? If so, stay tuned. This video is for you. Canadian Emergency Response Benefits, it has nothing to do with employment insurance. However, it helps all those who are impacted by the pandemic that is currently taking place and helps provide funds to those who've been negatively impacted and really help meet the needs financially of those during this time. Now, for those of you who want to know where to apply, you want to apply either Service Canada, CRA. You can also give them a call, but they may be pretty backed up. So it's probably a good idea to go digitally, log onto your account and apply through your own Service Canada or CRA account. Some of the eligibility involved with the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit involves losing your job, being in quarantine, helping out with someone who may be affected by COVID-19 who is in quarantine, or taking care of your children who are at home with you because of the fact that their facilities such as daycare, home helper school are no longer running at this moment in time. You may be eligible for the Canadian Emergency Response Benefits alongside with employment insurance benefits, depending on your circumstance. So this also depends if you are claiming employment insurance benefits from the time of December 29th of 2019 to about March 15th of 2020. You may be able to qualify the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit if you were taking on employment insurance benefits from December 29th of 2019 and be able to qualify within the time period of October 2020. One factor of being able to qualify is not making more than $1,000 within the first 14 consecutive days within your claim for the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit. Very important to keep that in mind, and that can also be in the form of tips, regular income from your workplace. So definitely be mindful of that, because it's going to be something that the Canadian Revenue Agency is going to be looking after once it's time to start collecting payments and use that towards tax season. Another question you may have is, what happens if I stop working before March 15th when the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit became available to the public? Well, the thing is, you won't qualify for it, so you'll have to go under the Employment Insurance Act, in which you can typically receive about 55% of your income, depending if you qualify for the 600 hours. To have more information on your employment insurance qualifications, check out Service Canada or CRA. Now, of course, one of the big important questions is, how much am I getting and how long is it for? Well, you'll be getting about $2,000 a month in the form of $500 a week for 16 weeks. And it'll last for starting on the first day that you receive the payment, concluding for 16 weeks after that, and concluding on the final 16th week. Now, the timeline in which you can qualify for the benefit would be within March 15th of 2020 all the way to October 3rd of 2020. At this point, that's as far as it goes. Now, depending how the economy goes and how our politicians decide to go through with this, at this point in time, that's the time frame which you collect your 16 weeks. Not the full time frame from March 15th to October 3rd, but within that time frame, you can select which 16 weeks benefit you or your current situation. Now, for the 16 weeks, they don't have to be consecutive. You can actually break them up, 3 weeks here, off, 3 weeks there. You could do 8 and 8 and pauses in between. It really depends on what works best for you at this point in time. Now, you're probably asking, what information do I have to give CRA or Service Canada? Well, you're going to have to give them, of course, your contact information, your social insurance information, and any other information regarding perhaps employment and any loss and reasons involved with your claim. Adding on to what I mentioned in terms of eligibility, it can be anyone who's 15 years of age or older, somebody with a citizenship, somebody who just recently migrated to the country, also someone who's recently exhausted all their employment insurance benefits and still needs some more funds to continue to go forward. And be able to have the ability to use the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit to help them out. Adding on to that, you must have generated at least $5,000 in the last 12 months of income. It could be self-employment income, it could be working for an employer, so at least $5,000 in the last 12 months of income. Now, going back to what I was saying about the $1,000 earlier, that can be in the form of honorarium, regular working income, tips, anything as such that shows you generated $1,000 in the workplace. Now going back to what I was saying about the $1,000, that could be in the form of you working and receiving honorarium, regular income, commission checks, anything of that sort during the time frame in which listed earlier. Do keep in mind this is taxable income. This is not free income. And for those who are currently working and applying and receiving the income, that is a form of fraud in which the government is going to be very strict on matters. So you need to be very careful and make sure you're not causing any fraud, because the government's going to be after fraudsters. Now you're probably thinking, how long is it going to take for me to receive my funds? Well, online through Service Canada says 10 business days. However, I've heard of stories from people receiving within 2 to 3 days in their bank account. And with this, you'll receive this either digitally or through a check. There you have it, guys. All you need to know about the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, also known as the CERB. Question: have you looked at some of the highest forms of saving interest accounts here in Canada? Click the link below. I've got a great video that goes super in depth and the best high interest savings account Canada has to offer. If you like this video, remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, even jiggle the notification bell so you can get updates on our newly uploaded content. Thanks so much, guys. See you in the next video. Click here and here to see more of my uploaded content.